Hi everyone, I'm Coco Blake. Welcome to Brattypodcast. Let's get straight into it. Hi guys, this will be my first episode of my podcast. I'm really excited to start this series because I feel like a lot of you guys always ask me questions and I can never answer them in a timely manner or in general. So this episode is going to focus on being tattooed. I know a lot of you guys follow me and support me because I'm tattooed and wonder how it kind of affects my everyday life or what I do, or you guys want to do it, where to start. I got my first tattoo when I was 13, and then I probably had 15 or 16 by the time I was maybe like 16, give or take, and I always knew I wanted to be tattooed. I think as a kid, my parents have always been super supportive of me, which I think makes a really big difference. And now, obviously, I'm 24. I'm pretty heavily tattooed. I've gotten all my tattoos in about 2-ish years. I'll obviously tag and tell you guys all of the artists I use because you always ask, and I'm always happy to give you recommendations of artists. But I don't know, being tattooed for me, I feel like is one of the best things I've ever done. I think there's a lot of challenges that come with it, but there's also some really amazing perks that have pushed me out of my boundaries. I'm from a small town in the South. I don't know about small, but I'm from a town in the South. Women being heavily tattooed is definitely not the most normal thing that you ever did see, but it didn't stop me. Now I live in LA, and it's a lot more accepting here, which is one of the most amazing things about it. I don't know, to talk about confidence of being tattooed, I think getting to wake up and have something on your body that you love every day is a really amazing experience. I think with that being said, my confidence level has really gone up since being tattooed. For me, it's one of those things that you can kind of tell a lot about me before you even speak to me, and that's probably one of my favorite things that I get to share. I am somewhat of an introvert sometimes, and I feel like the tattoos has made me become more extroverted because people come up and communicate with me more, asking about them, and I get to share all the fun stories. One of the biggest questions I always get asked is being judged on tattoos. I could care less what people think of me. I've never honestly cared. I struggled pretty badly in high school. I didn't have very many friends, and I was bullied. And getting tattooed now has kind of made me care even less. People automatically will judge you based on being tattooed. It's the day and age we live in. Although we're evolving, it's definitely on the harder end. A lot of the older generation has a lot to say about people being tattooed and how you can't have a job and you won't go anywhere. Specifically face tats. As you guys can see, I have a lot of face tats. I think I have like 18 or 19 of them right now. And I never really saw any of the negative impacts of being tattooed. For me, getting to have them, being so happy having them, I think the negative shit kind of just left my body. The only people I think that ever really impacted me negatively was obviously my family, but my family's pretty supportive of me being tattooed, which, has set a really good foundation for me. So, I think that also makes a difference. If you want to be tattooed, or if you're planning on it, my biggest advice for that is to make sure you want to do it. I feel like the more opinions that you ask, the less excitement that follows with it, because a lot of people live in fear and live in judgment and will put that onto you, whether it's your family or your friends. So it's really one of those things that if you want to do it, you should do it, because the longer you wait, I feel like the worse it is. That doesn't mean go out and get your face tatted and do all this crazy shit, but it does mean, if you do want to do it, take your time, plan it, and go get it done, because, you can do anything just as much being tattooed or not being tattooed. I am very fortunate that I've made a niche or whatever the word is off being tattooed. I do social media, and it's also where I live, so that makes a pretty big difference. And I think living here, it's much more accepting to look however you want to look versus living in North Carolina. When I go home, I literally have people come up to my family and be like, aren't you ashamed that your daughter looks like that? Or aren't you embarrassed that that's your kid? And, your daughter ruined her face or ruined her body, which I think is actually fucking insane. And if you said that to my mom now, my mom would actually curse you out. Or she'd say she doesn't look good in orange, which means she would go to jail, because my mom doesn't play that shit at all. Which I think is exactly how it should be, honestly, because the world is evolving, and I think it's just better to do it that way and do whatever you want. These are some questions that you guys asked me that I'm like going through answering, so I'll read them out loud so you can hear them. But this one says, how have tattoos influenced your interactions with others on a daily basis? I think this is a blessing and a curse. The older generation of life definitely thinks I'm some like party hard, druggy, drinky, girly pop, and I go to bed at 9 and I don't drink and I don't do any drugs, and I actually can't hang and I'm not cool at all. The only thing that makes me cool is honestly being tattooed and occasionally riding a motorcycle. But I think it actually opens a pretty cool like gateway for a lot of really good conversation. And I also feel like a lot of artists or really creative people are tattooed. So it's kind of a community. Well, it is a community in and of itself, to where you kind of have a safe spot with people that are tattooed compared to people not being tattooed. There's obviously way less judgment, because when people have them themselves, they don't care as much. But it's never really impacted me too negatively, because once again, I don't work a 9 to 5, I work for myself. That's definitely the biggest misconception about being tattooed, is that you can't get a job and you can't do anything. And I just want to say that's the farthest thing from being true. So, experiences or things that you feel like about having face tattoos. I think everyone should get a face tat in their life. Hot take. Whether it be small, you don't have to go crazy, but I think they're so cute. I think they're cute. I think they're fun. I think you can get a small one. I think it's kind of one of those things that I tell people they should always everyone should shave their head once in their life, because you kind of fall into this like normality of what everyone else wants and the beauty standard. And one of the things people always say to me is, oh my God, you're so pretty with tattoos, or like, I never like girls with tattoos, but, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's rude, but YOLO, I guess. I'll just ignore it and look past it, because kind of, yeah, not nice. But I think everyone should get a face tat, whether it's small or large. And if you want to get one and you live in LA, I'll get one with you. We can go get matching ones. Ooh, these are like tattoo etiquette and care. I actually take the worst care of my tattoos. I don't put anything on them. I literally just let them rot on my skin and scab over. Your body obviously naturally heals like cuts and wounds and shit. So I just don't do anything. I do not swim in pools, hot tubs, or any of that dirty ass public water shit. So don't do that. That's my for sure tip of please stay away from that shit, because that's actually fucking grimy as hell. Don't pick at it, don't scratch it. If it itches, tap it. How to choose a tattoo artist. I only get tattooed by women. Sorry men, hate you. You're heavy-handed and you guys just aren't as careful as women are. Women are just a lot lighter, a lot more easygoing, and much more aware of the pain, where men are like, it's fine. So if you're a girl, honestly, or if you're a man, you should get tattooed by a woman. Way better. But besides that, I think it depends on what style of tattoo you want to do, which makes a really big difference. And cost-wise, you can find good artists for good prices. If you live in LA, people just charge $500 million trillion, and you just don't need that. There are so many amazing artists that are like actually reasonable, minimums of 100, whatever. Obviously, living in LA, most of them are like $400 or $500 an hour, which is fucking crazy and not worth it. So do not do it. How do people do this for a fucking hour? When people talk by themselves for 50 minutes, bless your heart, y'all are skilled. But I don't think I'd ever be able to do a 50-minute podcast, because this is crazy. Back to business. I'm like falling down this chair. People always ask me how I deal with the judgment that comes with tattoos, and I feel like I'm the worst person to ask, because I literally don't give a actual fuck about what anyone has to say, ever, about anything. I think when I was in high school, I was bullied so bad that now as an adult, I literally don't care if every single person hates my tattoos because I like them. When I got this blue one tattooed on my chest to my stomach, I got dragged on the fucking internet. Dragged. I became a fucking meme. Like, I literally got death threats being like, you're ugly now. No one's ever gonna like you because you have this. Shit like that, which is so crazy. Anyway, also, I feel like if you don't do social media, being tattooed is way easier because I think everybody appreciates a cool tattoo, honestly. Once you go on social media, people obviously give you so much more opinion about being tattooed, and there's like this weird male gaze standard of like, beautiful women shouldn't be tattooed. I think I hear that more than I hear anything else, honestly, that I've ruined my body because I'm tattooed, which I think is the opposite. If I wasn't tattooed, I think I'd be so fucking boring. I think being tattooed has made my personal style grow, made my confidence grow, gotten my life better. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Positive or negative impacts. I'm also pretty. I have a pretty face, which I think does make a difference of being tattooed and where I live. I think if I still lived in the South, I would probably struggle a lot more, I think, than obviously living in LA. LA is kind of the world full, like the pot full of the weirdest fucking people you'll ever see in your whole entire life. So if you want to be tattooed, you could move to LA because there's someone else who has their eyes injected with ink, their tongue split in half, their ears gauged to their toes. So you won't feel out of place, that's for sure. How has tattoos affected my professional life? I think it's impacted my professional life really positively. Probably one of the best things I actually ever did for myself was get fully tattooed. With that being said, I do get my fair share of like no's. I've started doing a lot of TV stuff, and as much as being tattooed is great, I'm a lot more limited to what I can do because not everybody wants a Mike Tyson face tatted girly pop. You know, that's fully yadded. I've also had the fair share of covering a lot of my tattoos because they just want my pretty face, but I do model and stuff, and a lot of people have booked me because of the tattoos. So the professional world is great. It does depend on your job. If you are self-employed, you want to be self-employed, I think being tattooed is a great outlet. But also, I've seen chiropractors, I've seen doctors, I've seen lawyers be fully tattooed as well. So there really is no limit. You really just limit yourself more than anything else. What else comes with being yadded? The DMs that I get are fucking crazy. I've literally had a man tattoo my name on his penis. And honestly, a flex for me, but also super shameful. And he sent me a photo of it at like 8 a.m, and it was the worst way I could ever start my morning. So if you ever send me a fucking dick pic, I will screenshot it and post it on social media. So watch your back, because I hate that shit. What else? What are my favorite tattoos of myself? Ooh, I have every man I've ever dated tattooed on me. 5 different names of men. 2 on my wrists that I crossed out when we broke up. This one, I actually liked him. This one I got while we were fighting and miserable, but I knew that he would forgive me if I got his name tatted. So I got it, but fuck him. I hate you. So if you ever watch this, hate you. Moral of the story, I think everyone should also get their partner's names tattooed on them. I know everyone tells you not to do it, but when I have kids, I'm gonna have so many good stories. My current boyfriend is tattooed on my throat. I got that like maybe a month in of us dating, maybe less. And no, none of these, actually some of these men have tattoos for me. My boyfriend now does not. I actually, fun fact, don't like men with tattoos. I think it's trashy and gross. With that being said, there are some beautiful men, but for myself, I have grown up with the clean cut look, and I want me a little hunting, fishing, four-wheeling cowboy that, you know, be playing golf. That's not fully yadded. Hot take, and I'm sorry for all those men that love me. I also just don't know if I love the look of both of us being tattooed. I feel like people are easily judgmental of me being tattooed, so when we're both tattooed, we just look like SoundCloud rappers or like trappers or some shit. What are my dumbass tattoos? I have Kanye's face tattooed on my leg. My first tattoo was the word love on my wrist. I got it when I was 13 by this man named Keith. Keith, if you ever watch this, you're the plug. You actually fed my dreams. And I paid like $40 for each tattoo, which for my 14-year-old self was fucking expensive. But it was the gateway drug for me being tattooed. but I get a lot of people stare at me. That's probably one of the biggest things that affects my life is people stare very heavily. Not only am I perfect, honestly, the prettiest girl ever, being tattooed draws people's attention so much more heavily, and it's affected a lot of my relationships because I feel like my partner is more worried about what people think of me than I'm worried about myself. My last ex would get on me about getting my face tatted. The thing about me is if you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna do it. I physically can't fight that. Like, I don't know what you expect. My boyfriend now is the only man. If you watch this, I love you. Most people don't even know I have a fucking boyfriend. If you watch this, I love you. He's the only guy that I don't have to ask for permission to get a tattoo. I just recently got this one on my face, my Mike Tyson tat, and he sees it and he's always just like, I love you, I support you, it's so pretty, it looks so great. And having the support system of your partner is one of the best, obviously one of the most amazing things ever. Never let a man tell you what you can and cannot tattoo, or anyone for that matter, but in relationships I know it's a big deal. My next thing is I'm currently removing some of my face tats. That has been a really interesting journey. I'm removing them at this place called Removery. There's one in Beverly Grove, I think it's called. The reason I am removing my face tats, a lot of you guys ask me this, is one, because I can. I feel like you get certain opportunities, and this is one of them for me. I get to collab with the brand, and I'm gonna leave this leave one, but I'm removing all the rest of them. See if it makes a difference in my life. What will probably happen is I'll probably remove them and get different ones, to be completely honest. The pain from a 1 to 10 on removing a face tat is an 11. But the 11 only lasts about 10 seconds. I remove all my face tats in a session in about 30 minutes, give or take. They don't numb it. They use ice, which does help the skin. I've done 2 sessions. A lot of my tattoos are almost gone. All of these are staying. The B is leaving. These are leaving. These are leaving. And then this on my other side is going. That will take me about a year to remove tattoos. Tattoo removal is also always an option. I know it is expensive, but they make it for a reason. If you want to do it, I think that you should do it. I don't think your tattoos need to be meaningful. I think they can just be fun and stupid. I have a couple meaningful ones for my mom because she's my bestie, and some for my friends, but I think I have like maybe 200, and I think maybe 10 of them are meaningful. This is my mom's name, and this is my grandmother who recently passed. Then I have my mom's I love you on my throat. I have my mom's name on my wrist. Like the randomest shit, but you know, in a cute way. I'm gonna try to start doing podcasts every couple of weeks. I haven't decided how much or how little, or if I love this or if I fucking hate it, but I'll probably start having people with me. I just am picky, but I'm gonna try to start doing these every couple of weeks, and it'll be kind of just about me, you know, my brand or what I do and how I've gotten to where I am. Kind of just like a girly talk podcast. I just get a lot of questions, and I feel like one of the best things about having a platform is getting to share. And I will not edit a YouTube video. I'm sorry. I love you all, and for all those that ask me, but I can't remember to vlog my life 24/7 the way that some of these baddies do. I just cannot hang. So a podcast is all condensed into one place, so I'd much rather do that. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really excited for future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe and like and follow me on all my socials.